Hello again. I know I have talked about COVID quite a bit, and I'm going to go back to the meditation and the requirements that are needed for doing an ideal meditation. Just to refresh some of the things, we have do's and don'ts, just like the Ten Commandments in Christianity. These are basically to improve our mind concentration, and they do help. So there are certain things which includes non-violence, telling the truth, not stealing, celibacy, and not hoarding. Those are the ones that are needed to be done. In addition to that, we also talked about the cleanliness of the mind, the thought, the body, and of course the intelligent or intellect. Then there was a satisfaction. There are three more which are remaining, which includes a tapa, and it is not tapa, it is tapa. The next one is swadhyay, which is studying of scriptures. And last one is Ishvara Pranidhan, which means surrendering to the God. So I'm going to talk about either one of these or at least one today. Please remember that all three of these combined are called Kriya Yoga. Kriya means action. So in the previous ones, we talked about doing certain things, not doing certain things. Here we're going to talk about actually positively doing an action. So that action is called Kriya. That's why it's called Kriya Yoga. So the Tapa, which is control, the Swadhyay, which is study of the scripture, and Ishwar Pranidhan, which means surrendering to the God, are actually positive things, and we have to actively do it. So let me start with the Tapa. It's Tapa. In the past, we used to say penance. That means somebody would sit in a lotus position and for years together, months together, start chanting something and nothing doing, no eating, no drinking, nothing. This was a story from the ancient scriptures or ancient India. However, in today's life, that is impossible. All of us work, all of us have families, and all of us cannot do it. There is simply no way to do that kind of tapa or penance. However, we all can definitely do something, which is devoting our mind, surrendering our mind, and studying the scriptures. So those are the three actions that we certainly can do. Tapa is where we have a control of our speech, control over our body, and control over our mind. So in these three things are called Kaya, body, Manasa, which is mind, and action. So we have to have a control over this. There will be times when our mind does not have control, but we can control our speech and we can control our actions. There may be times when we have no control over our mind as to it wanders all over, has good thought, bad thoughts, hatred. We want to say something to someone and we might even say it. But at least we can have control over a physical action. So the first and the easiest one probably, or at least one would be the action. So if I don't react and insult, speak badly about somebody. So actually physical action is the one, speech is an action, and of course the thought is the last one. I do feel that most of us can at least prevent bad action, whether it is related to physical activity or otherwise. We can also prevent bad speech. So let's take an example. Let's say I don't like someone. I don't feel he's a good person. I don't feel he's a good doctor. I don't feel he's a good neighbor. I don't feel he's a good XYZ occupation or otherwise. There's no reason for me to criticize him or her unless somebody's life is in danger. So I could definitely control my speech and my action. Action would of course be physical action or bad mouthing someone. Now, can I prevent a bad thought coming to my mind? And the answer is probably not. Definitely not in the early stages of our preparation for meditation. But if I would say something bad to someone, which is speech as an action, or if I would physically act something, I cannot prevent my mind from getting different thoughts. For example, if somebody likes a particular political leader and the other one hates it, and we have an argument, what we are seeing right now in our political sphere, pro and anti, and then we exchange language, words. Even when the argument or discussion or thought process is complete, do you think our thoughts will stop? The answer is no. Think what happened. When you had an argument about whether somebody is a good leader or a bad leader, and when the argument was over, the parties departed, and you are alone. You continue to think about it. You continue to think that you should have said like this, and as if that would have won you an argument. Or you could have felt, I shouldn't have said that because that was too insulting. Remember? So the same thing happens when we have interpersonal relationships. We say stuff that we don't mean, or even if we mean, we should not say it. So this if we don't get into an argument by stopping the stage one step, which is not talking, not acting, then we certainly can prevent the thoughts coming back. Because what happened is that, let's say I'm having an argument and I stop. What is going to happen is next time when the guy has departed, because we haven't exchanged words or arguments or unpleasant language, we're not going to think about it. The thought will not come to our mind when he is gone or when we see him next time. And that certainly is very important. So the speech and the action, if we follow a control over them, the mind will follow, though not 100% of the time. This particular thing is tapa. This needs determination. This needs intense desire. And all of us can do it. I'm going to briefly talk about something called Swadhyay. Swadhyay means reading the scriptures. Most of us tend to say, I read Bible every day. I listen to the Bible stories every day. I listen to XYZ on a YouTube. I go to ABC's lecture on a weekend retreat. That's not enough. That is not enough. Studying the scripture does not mean reading a story. Studying a scripture does not mean reading verses from Bible or Gita or any other place that you want to do it. Studying a scripture is understanding what is behind it and following it. Jesus Christ never hurt anybody. Jesus Christ didn't say anything bad about anybody. So when he talks about something, we need to think about him, or if you have somebody else, as to what did they do? How did they act in their life? What exactly is meant by when they say something? And that particular studying of scripture is what is important. Reading a book where simple English or Hebrew or Urdu meaning is done is not going to be enough. We need to understand the principle behind what is said, because most of the scripture are written mystically. They are not written in current atmosphere. They were written several hundred years ago or several more than that ago. And there is always a hidden meaning behind it. The thought behind the scriptures, somebody who said those, what was his behavior, understanding that is studying the scriptures. So studying scripture does mean reading about it, but also trying to get real meaning from a real teacher or a guru. Otherwise, we will all be confused and not follow anything and not understand anything. The last one is surrendering to the God, which I will talk next time. I hope you're liking some of these mini YouTube videos. You would like it, subscribe to it. Thank you. Stay safe. Have a nice day.